Hey, well, friends, it happened again. Once again, the United States Congress sent a crystal clear signal that if you are a white, old man who is a Republican with power, you will never have to answer for anything you do. There is no consequences. The worst part, Trump literally said when he was first being tried for impeachment, um, I could walk out on the Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody in the head and they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. And the worst part about that statement is it was apparently right. He was apparently 100% correct. Because obviously, lying about the results of the election, since before the election was even had, he was already saying it was going to be rife with fraud. He would refuse to acquit. All of that garbage. Acquit. He would refuse to concede. Um, he kept spreading that fire. He's the one that summoned the mob to the Capitol. For weeks, he promoted the Stop the Steal rally. Again, he brought them up to Washington, said, y'all all come up to Washington where you can be angry. He made them even angrier. And then he pointed this loaded gun at the Capitol building, and when it all went off, he had the audacity to pretend like he didn't know it was going to happen. Alright. We're done talking about that. I need to wash my sheets. Jesus Christ. I'm such a trash mammal. Like, I'm fairly good about keeping up with keeping my sheets clean. Like, they don't. It's not like it's not like they smell or anything, but I sweat so much in my sleep that even if I wash them every week, they'd still like end up discolored. And I was watching an old episode of the podcast. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's Critical's podcast that he does with a couple of his friends and usually a guest. And it was the one Vinny was on. This was a while back, around, I won't say it was around the time Another Light came out, but like before Another Light came out. Anyway, it was a couple of years ago. And one of their sponsors for the day was a company that does bed sheets. And Kurt was talking about either Crit or Andrew, I think his name is. We're talking about seeing like discolored white sheets in college, and I think it was Crit that came back and said, yeah, that's because they don't wash their sheets ever. And I felt like I feel attacked. Like, my bed is clean, these sheets smell fine, like, I'm just depressed. Cut me some slack, guys. I'm not a slob, I'm just depressed. I'm a bit of a slob, but only in my own personal space. That was a big distinction between me and my sister growing up. She would just string and strut, just tote stuff everywhere, put it down wherever she felt like, and then leave it there. We're talking like when we were younger. Like, even when I was young, I kept my mess to myself. Hang on. I really should get in a better habit of doing this before I get started. That was a good voice crack. Oh, man. This is why I ended up skipping the Wellerman thing. I still hate that. I was so excited to do that, and I just didn't have the range for it. Anyway, and like, I've always been, like, my room's always been a mess. It's like, don't get me wrong, I don't have, well, I almost can't say that anymore, but like, out of the two of us, I'm not the one who accidentally shoved, like, we have smaller rooms, and my sister didn't really have a place to sit and eat, but she was eating in her room. She half ate something. It ended up pushed just under the foot of her bed out of site, and I don't know how long it was there. None of us do. It was growing things. I'm not that bad. Not with food. A lot of it's just, paper stuff, wrappers from things. But anyway, my point is, I've always been one to keep that in my own space. Like, I'm not out in shared quarters leaving my shit all over the place. Unless it's like setting my phone down and then just forgetting that's where it is. I've actually accidentally toted my mouse to the kitchen, set it down on a shelf in the refrigerator while I was pouring myself something to drink, and then forgot to pick it back up before. It took like 30 minutes to find it. I don't even think I'm the one that found it. I think I was tearing my room apart, and one of my parents brought it to me. I'm like, why was this in the refrigerator? And I'm like, because your son is an idiot. Today I spent most of the day, again, pretty much most of the day playing Phantasy Star Online 2. I finally unlocked the Scion classes, and let me tell you, Phantom is a lot of fun. I miss my bow. I really do. And unfortunately, Bravery is the only class that can use a bow. But Phantom's really, really fun. It's really fun. And I don't know how it's going to mesh later. I hope that at the very least I'll be able to bring over the arts when I use it as a subclass. I want to say that you can use the arts of your subclass. I'll have to look it all up again. But even if not, like, it's kind of just fun experimenting with a different playstyle that still works with my ranger build. And eventually I'll build a full melee and a full ranged character, because ranger is a little different. It builds off of dexterity instead, because it revolves around bows and katanas, both of which were new classes, new weapon types when they introduced, and revolved around dexterity instead of the unified weapon stats. So it'd be fun to do. I'll probably do a I don't know what I'd do next. Probably melee. There seems to be like a lot of fun melee weapons, whereas to me the bow is probably the most fun ranged weapon. Then again, that could just be my own aesthetic preferences coming through. But like, as far as melee go, there's these things called wire lances, which are basically just like, you just dual fist like whip blades. It looks like that are whip blades / grappling hooks. So that looks cool. Dual swords are always fun. There's a like dual tipped spear thing. Just, there's some fun looking things that I haven't really been able to play around with. Right now the only weapons I've been able to use are Bravery uses, like I said, bow and katana and the gunblade. And then with Tekker, the thing I was using is subclass. And while so the class I was using, I had been power leveling so I could unlock secondary classes. Oh, one nice thing is now that I've unlocked those 4 classes, they're unlocked, period. I start a new character, I'll be able to use them right away. I don't have to level 2 classes to 75 to get them open again. It's just a first time thing. And it's also nice that I feel like in other games you have to level specific classes. You know, like whatever the classes that are intended to build into that class are supposed to be, you have to do it. But this is just whatever 2 classes. Just whichever ones. Play how you want. We don't care. Like, you know, if you're gonna get super into late game, should you be min maxing? Absolutely. But like, you know, you just want to play everything decently enough. Good chunk, you'll figure it out. Like honestly, it seems to be like really accessible. Um, it really helps that like of what I've of the content that I've experienced so far, so much of it's just easily accessible to a lower class, um, which is probably because there's no like normally I feel games like this. Well, no, I was gonna say that revolve around a player level and not a class level, but that's probably because like most games are really restricted. If you make a character, you pick its class. That's it. But like, you know, Phantasy Star's going. From what I understand, and while I've messed with it a little bit during a free trial, I've not played a lot of 14. But from what I understand, it works in a similar way, where you just kind of either you pick a class or you like classes based off of like you level up weapon skills, but just by you. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly how it works. But from what I understand, it's pretty open too. You're not a lot like you pick a class when you start the game. Same with Persona. I keep calling it Persona because Phantasy Star Online. It's just I hate them for that. I understand it works. I do. And I honestly blame the atrocious mess that is the English language more than I do the developers, but also fuck them. Phuck. English is such a stupid language. It's been bastardized so many times because we've enforced it on so many people. British, man. Anyway, damn you, colonization. But yeah, so like, you, for example, you go into like the expeditions, which are the backbone of like, if you're gonna chase the story, they're the backbone of what you're gonna do. There's like 2 behind a level cap, and I think maybe like there's like 2 sets. There's like 4 that are behind a like level 30 cap, and honestly, you can manage that in like an hour if you're really trying. And if you're brand new and playing on Steam, they'll just give you a ticket. I don't think I'll get that for other characters, but like the first character, they just hand you a million experience points. Here you go. And then the other ones, like, I think it seems like it's an old holiday event quest that just stuck. Like it looks like a Halloween event, but like I haven't played it yet because by the time I sort of recognized it was there, I swapped to lower classes and I haven't just. My range is the entry level is 50, I think. Because like you can get into quests up to like 15 levels below the recommended, depending. Yeah, I think it's like 45 or 50, and I just haven't taken the time. Or it might even be 60, but it's like that one quest, and honestly 60 isn't. Like 60 is probably where it starts to slow down as far as leveling. And even then it's not that much if you once you realize that every day there's a recommended quest built for leveling that a lot of people are like, especially the higher end versions like level 60s and up, there, you know, there's gonna be people running it at any given time. So you just pick the matchmake for the ship option, and honestly, you'll probably be carried through it and level like twice per run early on if you're using boosters and stuff. Anyway, I'm tired and rambling. I've kind of told most of the big thing for the day is just how much fun Phantom is. And if anything, it makes me eager to, you know, build new characters for the sole purpose of playing into the other classes. Because I don't know. I'd have to look into it a little bit more. Like I've only been playing it for a little over a week now, I think, and I've not gone like neck deep in looking into what exactly the requirements would be for some other stuff. But I feel like I accidentally picked the most like limited class to start with as far as branching out, because it's, like I said, it's the only, I'm pretty sure at this time, like, it's the only class really built around Dex, and Phantom's the only Scion class really built around Dex. But like I said, that's mostly for just maximum level stuff. If I wanted to play around with the other classes, I absolutely could, and I absolutely would, like, definitely be able to do, like, some high tier weapons, just not, like, the highest tier weapons. Anyway, like I said, rambling, tired, voice keeps cracking, and I'm afraid it's, like, I'm just waiting one day, if it ends up staying rainy and cold like it is. Not that I mind that weather, I really don't, it's nice. But I can tell if this moisture hangs around for a few more days, I'm probably just gonna end up losing my voice. So that day will be fun if it comes. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Oh, there you go. I'm catch you tomorrow.